Well. Good morning. Hello, traders. Happy Tuesday to you all. My name is Jason Krutzky, and this is yet another TrendSpider office hours session. It is a pleasure to be with you all again this morning. How are we doing? It's a shortened week this week, which I didn't even know until yesterday. But here we are back at Easter again. I hope you guys are doing great. Hopefully everybody had a nice Monday. I've got Ethereum up here on my chart, just kind of watching what's going on, getting a little bit of sell-off here across the cryptos. So kind of interesting. No agenda today, just hanging out with you guys for the next hour. What's up, Checkmate? How are we doing? Good morning. Good to see you. I've never seen you here before. What brings you by? How can I assist you? These office hours sessions are for you. They are designed to help you understand more about TrendSpider. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to answer questions related to TrendSpider. If you've got questions, I've got answers. So hit me with them. I'm going to be here for the next hour until about 11:30 Eastern time. And yeah, I'm happy to assist however I can. You know, sometimes folks come in and they want to know about particular indicators, or they want to know how to script a particular thing that they're looking for. Maybe they want to like scan for particular conditions. They want to learn how to find them. We can do all that stuff here. So yeah, hit me with what you got. What's up, Havarel? How are you? Just arrived in London an hour ago. Nice. Is it rainy? I've been to London a couple of times. Always enjoyed myself when I went. What are you doing there? Checkmate. Talk to me. I've never seen you here before. What brings you by? Are you just popping in because you happen to randomly come across the stream? Or are you a TrendSpider trader looking to get some questions answered? DraftKings, cloudy but no rain, visiting your offspring. Nice, Havarel. Well, I hope you have a lovely trip. Let's take a look at DraftKings. Nice gap up on the day. Let me zoom out here. What do you want to know about DraftKings? Let's take a look. Interesting. Back into a big area of previous price consolidation. First thing that I'm pretty much always going to do, I'm going to add volume by price to my chart here. And I like to do this for any names that don't have a ton of price action or price history. So we've only got a couple of years of history for this particular name. Whenever I see charts like this, I'm always going to measure from the IPO just to see where point of control is, see where VWAP is. And you can see kind of how they've come into play. Obviously, that point of control was built probably during this period of time, during kind of the summer of 2022 through the beginning of 2023. That would be my guess, is kind of when I bet a lot of consolidation occurred down here. They had a lot of volume. But this is good to see. Up and over the VWAP, anchored VWAP from the IPO. You can see it was perfect resistance. Initially, they broke through it. They came back. They tested it. They held it. Very, very clean. So over on the right-hand side, let me make these a little bit easier to see. So I always want to see if you have a lot of volume that you're coming into here. And we do. I mean, there's a little volume shelf here from buyers that bought up here that are kind of trapped. And so you would anticipate perhaps that that price might stall a little bit. You've also got, so if you're a price action trader and this is your uptrend, right? Basically like right there. You've got kind of the, like an order block, essentially kind of right here, where you made a lower low, right? You put in a lower high here. This kind of set up the lower low and the break of structure. So like if this is your structure, if these are your higher lows, you kind of got a break in here. And I'm always looking at that last green candle before the break came, kind of like there. So somewhere in here is kind of where I would be watching. Sometimes Me personally, I'll use a fib on that candle just to see where like the 50% of that last candle is. So somewhere in here, like 55 bucks. Let's zoom out on the weekly and just see if we're seeing anything. I'm going to throw up seasonality just to kind of know what we can expect over the last couple of years, how things have been for this particular name. So historically, March isn't really that high of a performer, that good of a performer. Mean change in March, negative 5.3. So that's your average percentage change in March over the past 4 years for DKNG. So obviously this March, doing quite better than your average March. So that's a little bit of a change in trend. Now, it's only 4 years of data, not much there, but kind of interesting. Ah, right on. Checkmate. Cool. I'm glad you were here for FOMC. Those are always fun shows, the FOMC shows. Yeah, so I mean, you know, obviously this thing is bucking its usual trend for March. Coming out of March, you got a 50-50 shot of a decent action. April, May, June. Now it looks like May is its highest mean change value, 24.44% in May. That's a big move. Whether or not that'll happen this year, who knows? Did this thing just have earnings recently? I haven't been paying a ton of attention. Oh, it didn't really. So it's just grinding. I mean, yeah, it's certainly hard to argue with the strength here. The only thing I would be personally a little bit concerned about is just the fact that you probably have you definitely have a lot of people who are stuck up at these higher prices. So then you just got to think about where they might, where you might find sellers. You know, these people who are stuck up here who have held through all of this, who then might want to, or who might be seeing their positions coming back into profit or coming back into break even, and they might unload. Another idea here that you could try, you could use this volume by price drawing tool and just measure kind of the section of price, essentially the section of price, the section of price action where you actually have higher prices than what we have now. And if you just measure kind of that area, you know, here's your, let me turn this off really quick. If your high's right here, then kind of everywhere where price is above that, measure kind of that whole section. And you could see that I've done that, this whole section of the chart right here. Right, kind of just in through there. And the VWAP and the point of control of this section of the chart is right in here. So that's where your average buyer, and that's where the most volume is of everybody who bought kind of the all-time high area up here. So around like 52. So I'd definitely be looking at what does price do at 52. It could totally jam through that, continue making a new high. I'm not saying it's not going to. I'm just saying like once it gets there, keep an eye on it. Probably worth keeping an eye on it somewhere around in there. If you're long from something way lower, seems like a decent area where you would maybe consider taking a little risk off the table, perhaps. But yeah, earnings April 29th, according to this. I don't know if, you know, sometimes these things can slightly change. So Haverell, what you got your eye on today? And there's a few of you guys here. Anybody who hasn't said hello, please do say hello. Feel like it's going to be a pretty quiet session today, and just generally speaking, pretty quiet week. We've got the shortened week. Markets are closed on Friday, I believe. But yeah, any other questions from anybody? Any charts you guys want to look at? I mean, like I said, I'm an open book today. I'm chilling. Yeah, checkmate. No problem. We could look at other things too. You know, we could see if there's any analyst info going on recently. Let's look at this too. Gonna look up. See if any insiders are doing anything. Yeah, not much action on the insider side. Looks like the last sell was February. What's up, John? Right on. Well, welcome. John, just so you know, this is TrendSpider Office Hours. So really what we do here is we just talk TrendSpider. This show is designed for anybody who is a TrendSpider trader or is considering becoming a TrendSpider trader to kind of learn how to utilize the platform. It's a pretty extensive platform. There's lots of tools in it. And so, you know, we just like to give people as much, as much as we can to help get them up to speed so that they feel comfortable using the platform. So, John, if you have any questions, if you're familiar with TrendSpider, but you don't know everything about it, you'd like to learn more about it, just hit me with those questions. Happy to answer them. Can I explain the date time indicator? I want to test a strategy that only looks at opening 2 hours of the session. Let's see here. So honestly, I have not used this. So let's learn together. Okay, so first thing, you said you want to use it to test a strategy that only looks at the opening 2 hours of the session. Okay. So let's do this. Go to indicator, date, time. All right, so we would say time is equal to constant value, right? And I assume we would say 0730, right? If 1300 is 1 p.m. Well, I guess 0930, because sorry, 7:30 for me. But I think you would say 0930, and then if you wanted to get out, let's do this. We'll say indicator date time. And we'll say is equal to a constant value of 1130. Now, just to test this, because I'm honestly not certain. Let's do like a 1 hour strat. Yeah, okay. Here you go. So this essentially gets you in. Just make sure we're correct here. Well, that doesn't make a ton of sense. Whenever I'm trying to figure out how to utilize a new indicator, this is what I do. I kind of like just tool around with it until I understand it. So this is kind of what you're wanting to do, but presumably you're wanting to get in on the open. So maybe what I would do, what I would maybe do is I would maybe use the time to get me out. And then I might say, how do you fit in the strategy with that? Perhaps test a simple EMA cross. Yeah, hold on. So like you're saying you want to, how would you want to utilize an EMA cross? Are you saying you only want to be buying an EMA cross in the first hours of the day? I'm just thinking through how I would do this. And then I would say, no. Buying or selling during the first 2 hours only. Oops. Yeah, that ain't right. Let's do... So this is what I don't understand. I might have to ask about this. I'm almost certain, Haberel, that my colleague, James, created this. What I don't understand is why I'm not getting entries here. Until... Oh, okay. All right, so here we go. Okay. All right, so here is, in essence, let's say 0925. Let's make it on the, oh, interesting. Okay. What if extended hours? Okay. All right, so with extended hours turned on, Here's your extended hours button to turn those on. I've defined that time is equal to 9:25. Actually, what I could do is I can make it 9:30, I guess. Now, I'm in Mountain Time. So for me, the market's open at 9:30. If you're Eastern, obviously, 7:30. Or, I'm sorry, it's flip-flopped. Market's open for me at 7:30. Market's open Eastern Time at 9:30. Gosh, I'm sorry. It's early. So here is your market open, 9:30. You could say, I suppose you could say equal to 9:30, or maybe you could even say like greater than a constant value of 0925. Yeah, so it's either or. And I'm just doing this on the 5-minute. And so here's your first definition, or this is the first thing you're defining, is simply that it's 9:30. And then your other condition, this is presuming you want to get in on the open. The other condition is your indicator condition, whatever it is. I'm just going to use I'll use these two MAs. So I'll say MA crossed up on indicator MA2. So the 80 MA crossed up on the 21 EMA. But what we're defining here is both of these things being true on the open, which I don't think that's what you want. I think what you're saying is you only want to get into one of these cross ups or cross downs or whatever if it's sometime between the first 2 hours, right? So I think what you need then to define is you need to define these things separately. And I would change this actually to greater than, because equal to forces it into happening right on the open, and that's not what you care about, right? So make it greater than. That way you're just saying time is greater than 9:30. You could, if you wanted to, you could add another parameter here and say that indicator time is less than a constant value of 11:30. Right? So now you have just defined that we are somewhere in this period. And then you want to define your other stuff. So you could say, if you just wanted to say that there was a cross up, we'll say MA crossed up on indicator MA2. And then let's use I don't know how you want to define getting out. Do you want to be out of this trade before 11:30 too? Or are you only saying that you only want to take the trade if you're in between the first 2 hours of the day? Because that is a distinction, right? Right now, as we have it, okay, yeah, you want to be out of the trade by 11:30. So then you would say indicator for your exit, you would say indicator date time is greater than a constant value of 11:30. So over here, you're defining that you're between 9:30 and 11:30. Over here, you're defining that it is past 11:30. So let's do this. I don't know what we're going to get here. Okay, interesting. So let me add this guy so that we can see it. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. My bad. Hold on. Let's do this. So these things are, ooh. All right. So essentially this is kind of what you're after, right? Here's your cross up. Here is your entry. The time is now past 11:30. It says 9:40 on my side, but that's because I'm mountain time, right? So 9:40 for me is 11, well, 9:30 is 11:30. So here's your exit based on the time piece. So you're entering within the confines of your time based on the cross up. You're exiting when your time closes. And if we look back on the chart, you can see kind of all the exits are at the same spot because, of course, we're exiting when that time is met. Does that make sense? Would also exit during the 2 hours. Oh, okay. Yeah. So then what you would want to say is you would want to do this. You would say indicator MA1 cross down on indicator MA2. And then you would just change all the following to any. And so now either you're getting out after 11:30 or you're getting out on the cross down. So we could readjust that here. And there you go. Does that make sense? Haverel, if this gets you where you want to be, what I can do is I can save this. I can share it with you so that you can import it on your end. Okay, great. So let's just call this Haverel time MA cross strat. We'll save it. I'll send this over to you. Thanks for being patient with me. I've not utilized that indicator ever. So it took me a second to kind of put it together in my brain. But here we go. That's really interesting. I would almost be kind of keen on digging into seasonality. Like, there are certain names where it's clear. I believe Tesla is one. Maybe it isn't Tesla. I can't remember. There are certain names where there are clear, you know, first hour of the day tends to be pretty weak. By the end of the day, the last hour of the day tends to be pretty good. And it would be kind of interesting to utilize date time to approximate some of that stuff. Like, what if you went long Tesla, long strategies? You went long Tesla at like 11:30 and then sell by 1:30. Where you have this increase in return. You could see it in mean change too. It's marginal. It's not a huge change, but you know, if you implemented this, if you utilize the seasonality to kind of gauge when you should be setting your time parameters is an interesting concept. Because you can say day of the week too, right? So, you know, here you go, clear. Mondays for Tesla over the past 12 years tend to be the best performers, and it tends to weaken over the week. So like if you were to take, it'd be interesting to try short strategies where you go long on a Monday and exit by a Friday. I understand that's the entire week, but just kind of interesting to think about. Or maybe even go long Monday, exit on Wednesday or something. Using seasonality to gauge when you should be doing that or what you should be kind of testing. It's an interesting thought. Oops. Apple, another clear one. Like Mondays tend to be pretty darn good. Your lowest return is on Thursdays, lowest mean change. Your highest mean change is on Mondays. So like shorting Monday strength, selling, covering on Thursday would be an interesting concept on Apple. And presumably, I'm just going to create a new one here. Oops. Right, you can do it the same way, except you use day of the week. So you say equal to a constant value of, I don't know, maybe 1? Is that how you... Let's use the daily. I want to make sure that I'm inputting this right. Let's just say we're getting in on Monday. And then... Let me just see if this is how this works. Huh, okay. Let's see how we define day. I would think it'd be 1 through 5, but could be wrong. I'll have to ask about that. Let me ask really quick. All right, I've just asked about the date because, like I said, I'm not sure on that. But we're about to find out. Any other questions from anybody here? Anything else you guys want to play around with or look into? A little quiet little day today. Trying to build a bot with a reversing strategy. What does that mean? Entry and exit conditions are identical but opposite. So the bot flip-flops between long short. It would have to be 2 bots. Habarel. So you would just do a long bot with the conditions and then make a secondary one with the short conditions. Because it's not possible to do long short at the same time. Maxlim, what's up, man? DJT, that's the old DWAC, right? So same idea here. You've got about 2 bots now, but sometimes it generates 2 buys or sells in a row. Huh. Haverell, what you might need to do, if that's what you're experiencing, I would recommend hitting up the support team and take some screenshots and send to them. But yeah, Haverell, I'm sorry I can't give you more answer on that, but take some screenshots of what you're seeing and send them to the guys in Contact Us or via Contact Us. They are actually a little bit better equipped to answer that specific question than I am. All right, so DJT, same idea as what we just did on DKNG. Pretty much always with a ticker like this, pretty much always going to have, I want to see where the volume is from the IPO. And it's the literal, like, is this not the exact same thing that we just saw on DKNG where they pushed above the VWAP from the IPO? That's this white line here. And look at this perfect support both times. The VWAP from the IPO, which means that all of your people who bought at $140 and $150 and $170 and all this stuff, like everybody is now. Ooh, hold up. Let's do that. Interesting. Let's just go to here because this is really all that matters. Okay. Sorry. Almost got misleading. Same look though. VWAP, perfect resistance back in January on this first move higher. Now they've broken through it. Now they're pulling back. What do you want? Old resistance, new support. So I'd be keeping a close eye on that 58 spot. If you're a market structure person, again, kind of the same ideas we just talked about in DKNG, but in reverse. You got this downtrend. We've broken the downtrend today. So somewhere in here, 48. If this VWAP, if they're not able to hold this VWAP, be looking for some sort of hold down in here. And then same idea on DWAC as DKNG. Kind of up here, this 88 area would be an area that I'd be watching. Not saying they can't push right through it. They very well might. We've got months and months till the election. This is a meme stock at this point. Could go anywhere, right? But you've got your clear uptrend. You've got a structure break here. So you'd be looking kind of in here as a potential area of resistance. But whether or not it hangs, or whether or not that stays that way, who knows? We could also, let's take a look at seasonality and just kind of see how it tends to do. March historically, not so great. But yeah, I mean, I would anticipate lots of things are going to happen to this stock over the next 6 months as the election nears. You're going to have lots of volatility here. Huge moves higher and huge moves lower is what I would anticipate. So just, size, I would say size accordingly, size based for the potential of tons of volatility. T equals, all right, so I'm just hearing back from my colleague here. So regarding day of the week, I just want to go back to this idea really quickly. Oops. Okay, yeah. So for day of the week, 1 would be Monday, 2 would be Tuesday, 3 Wednesday, 4 Thursday, 5 Friday. So this is entering on a Tuesday, exiting on a Friday. Just so you know, Haverhill. Yeah, I can't speak to value, Brian. Value is in the eye of the beholder. But you know that there's going to be lots of hijinks with this stock over the next 6 months. It's just how it's going to be. In both directions. There's going to be big winners and big losers. At least that's what I would anticipate. What else, y'all? Anything else we want to look at? No pressure, of course. Oh, my music's stuck again. Any chance of alert and bot resolutions dropping below 5 or 15 minutes? I think there's a good chance of it. Yeah. I can't give you a date and time for when that's supposed to happen. I do know that we are in the process of getting new data feeds added to the platform. Excuse me. I know I've been talking about it a little bit, but and I'm not certain what those new data feeds are going to yield aside from just better data. I'm kind of secretly hoping that it'll allow us to do some faster alerts. Down to the 1 minute, hopefully. But I'm uncertain, Haverhill. There's been talk of this for some time. I've heard it floated for some time. But I don't have any hard dates for you, unfortunately. I wish I could tell you something more specific. That request is absolutely something that everybody wants, right? You are not the only one. I think we all want as fast of an alert as possible. What else, y'all? Anything else? Quiet morning today. Kind of had a feeling it might be a little quiet. John, you're new here. Anything you're curious about that I can help with? Continuous scanner would be awesome. I do not disagree. Haverhill, have you tried signing up to your scanners? Have you seen that? Find how we do that. Hold on. All right, let me see something. I don't want to speak out of turn. This might be something that This might be something that is not live for everybody yet. Ah, so here. Run this scanner on a schedule. Have you seen this? This isn't exactly what you're requesting. I know that. But I'm showing it to you so that you know that it exists. So you can define a set time and the days of the week for that scanner to run, and it'll send you results of the scan directly to your inbox, to your email. So if like in the morning you have the habit of checking your emails, it'll send you like one sheet that just says like all the new names on the list, the names that were on the list that are no longer on the list, that sort of thing. The thing about continuous scanners that's really hard is those would become widely utilized to an unbelievable degree very quickly. So imagine like a scan that runs every single minute and thousands of traders running scans like that. We just don't have the server capacity for it just yet. It'd be a huge, huge burden on the servers. But Haverel, this is a first step towards kind of some of that functionality that you're looking for. So hopefully this can help you a little bit, even though I know it doesn't get you quite where you're trying to be. There's a few new people here. Anything else that I can help with? If no, I'm probably going to get jumping out of here. I will be back on Thursday, probably, to hang out for a little bit. Unless something exciting happens tomorrow. But this week feels a little slow, doesn't it? Just feels a little slow. Okay, all right. So hold on, let's talk about this. Haverel, first of all, it is our pleasure. So glad that I'm so glad to hear that. We do care a lot about trying to make sure you guys understand what you're doing on the platform. So glad to hear that. Finny, you're chilling, listening to me. Not much moving. Yeah, exactly. Tesla and weed. I don't have a favorite weed name. I kind of steer clear of them. But let me see something. At one point in my life, no. Yeah, I don't, if you have something you want to look at, we can definitely look at it. Back in the day, this one was the one, the GRWG, but clearly, clearly it is no longer the one, but none of them are the one anymore. What's the deal? I guess like federal, there's word going around that perhaps weed's going to become legal across the country. You know, the obvious ones, CGC, Cron, Tilray. Yeah, definitely moving. Dang. 3x, pretty much, almost a 3x from the lows. All coming into previous highs. I mean, that they held the low from November, that's a pretty good sign for bulls. You know, it kind of suggests that they're going to make a new high, right? Somewhere above $3 on GRWG. ACB. It's a nice head and shoulders breakout setup here. Head and shoulders breakout. I don't know if I see it. Is it like on a very small time frame? Is it this? I mean, this would be definitely a potential area to fade. Risking off this high. So nice tight risk, 13 cents. But they kind of held where they needed to, right? Jeremy, you're new to TrendSpider. Jeremy, welcome, first and foremost. Very pleased to have you, sir. Do you have any questions? Is there anything you're having trouble with? Anything I can help you to understand a little bit better? You're looking at the 10-minute. Yeah, I mean, definitely like clean. Back in the day, I would have taken this trade all day long. Short there with a stop above this high, like just a couple cents, like a stop up at like 498 or so. And then looking for a new low. Personally, these days, because it's a bull market, I look for more lows made. So the fact that they came in and they held this, right? Very clean, came back, tested the breakout and held it. Like if they had lost this and started making new lows relative to all these guys in here, then that move back up would have been a much easier short, I think. But they could definitely fail here. Simply because you do have technically a structure break, right? This was your low that brought you up to the high. You broke the lows. So then that suggests the failure here. But it's tricky. Okay, Jeremy, no problem at all. Jeremy, just so you know, we do these office hours a couple times a week. They are, you know, anybody is welcome, and you are welcome to bring literally any questions that you got, from I'm trying to build out a strategy, but I can't figure out how to script it, to how does this indicator work, to how can I utilize this particular data set. Whatever it is, you can bring it here, and I'll say about, I don't know, the audience can speak for me. I'd say about 75 to 80% of the time, I've got an answer instantly. And the other 20% of the time, we learn together, like we did earlier with Haberell and the date time indicator that I'd never played with before. So just know that this is available to you, and know that these shows are really built off of what you guys come with. Sometimes I will come with ideas and new things that I want to show you, and I'll spend a little bit of time kind of at the top of the show talking about a particular tool or whatever. But most of the time I like to come in without any agenda and just open up the floor to folks who tune in. And then we can just kind of talk about whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. And honestly, like the people that come here often, there are quite a few folks that kind of are here all the time. Brian Pike is a good example. We see Brian in here all the time. Sometimes people come in here not with questions. They come in here because they know that often, most shows, I'm going to be, you guys are going to guide me towards something that's going to teach them something new. So yeah, you don't have to come with questions, but it's certainly helpful. Kind of keeps things moving along. So, all right, last call for questions. If anybody has any, hit me with them. If not, I'm going to get out of here. If you enjoyed the show today, please do me two big favors. The first big favor is subscribe to the channel. The second, hit me with a like on the show. You know, these shows, they're small. We would love it if more people showed up. So if you've got a friend who's a trader, tell them about the show. Let them know. If you have a friend who utilizes TrendSpider and they don't know about it, tell them about it. Let them know that we do these a couple days a week in the morning. And I want to keep doing them. And to keep doing them, really, we got to see the number go up. That's kind of what it all boils down to. So anything you guys can do to help with that would be, I'd be most appreciative. And we can continue doing these. So yeah, that's my spiel. I will also say, if you are not yet a TrendSpider trader, Easter is around the corner. And there are things that companies do around holidays. I'm not going to go into too many details about this, but there are things that companies do around holidays. So if you've been kind of on the sidelines considering getting a TrendSpider account, but you haven't yet pulled the trigger, I encourage you to keep your eye on our pricing page over the next couple of days, because it's a holiday and there are things that companies do around holidays that you might want to look out for. So, okay, with that, that's my spiel. Any other questions? If no, we're going to sign off. And I'll be back, like I said, I'll be back on Thursday, probably Thursday, to hang out again. So go play around on the platform, get lost, get stuck, and then come back on Thursday with another question for me. All right, does that sound good? We good, we good, we good? Everybody good? Going once, going twice. Last call. All right. I think that's it. All right. Well, all right. We're going to call it. Again, thank you guys all for being here. Very much appreciate it. And we will see you guys again very soon. Hopefully Thursday. Yeah? All right, y'all. Take care. Have a great one.